3. Episode 23 of Share the Live Stream. If you're vibing with us on Facebook or YouTube, you can hear the music right now. And we're just chilling. It's chill vibe. Showing up every single day, 1:30, Monday through Friday. But today, I have a special honor that I cannot wait to share with you. Oh, let's turn that on. Let's see. A little bit brighter, a little better. I have a special honor. I have two things that I'm going to do today. One, besides show up. And that's already enough. I just literally probably show up and just look at y'all the entire time, and I'll be good. But today, I'm celebrating more than just showing up. Once, I'm also going to celebrate my daughter's mom. It's her birthday today. So happy birthday to Melissa Moosh in the building. So we're going to celebrate her and talk a little bit about her, tell you a little bit about our story. And then we're going to get into kind of dissecting one of the songs from DMX. And that song is going to be Let Me Fly off of It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And so we've got a couple things we're going to get done, a couple things that we plan on doing. But you know what? I wanted to do real quick? Let me see if this works. Boo-doo. You know what? Let me scribble. Let's see if this works right here. I'm gonna see if we can play this quick game just for kind of a quick share that Chrome tab. Scribble. Let's see if it works here. Okay, skipping that ad. We're going to. Okay, this is a game that I saw just played the other day, and I thought it'd be funny. It's a game where we are essentially trying to guess what the item is that is being drawn. Oh, okay. There's only one other person in this room right now, so that's probably not going to work. All right. Well, that's, it was an idea. I like the idea. I'm going to skip it. So anyways, y'all, my name is Joel. We're showing up every single day. Just as our mission, our mission is to prove that you are not alone. And so every single day we show up, we make sure that we are present for people, and we just kind of bring good news and company. We're kind of acting as if we are company. We are trying to figure out how to get it back to my main screen, which is done. And so that is now stop screen sharing. Okay. But anyways, today's my daughter's birthday. My daughter Melissa's birthday is today. Also have another big personal a big personal share or announcement, but I'm not 1,000% sure that they have told people. So before I get into kind of sharing other news, there's another big Barnes family thing. Hannah says happy birthday, mama, on the YouTube link. So there's another big personal Barnes family celebration. Not sure how far we've shared that yet. So I'm going to hold on that. But one that we are very, very, very happy about. Very, 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 very happy about. And so it's a big celebration in the Barnes family this week. More on that later. But for now, the Barnes family celebration that we're able to talk about is that it's my daughter's mom's birthday. So today on the show, on Share the Live Stream, our purpose, we just show up, make sure we show up every single day, Monday through Friday, 1:30, from 1:30 to about 2:30 ish. We'll see, or two. And we're just kind of like Will Smith on the dock in I Am Legend, showing up every single day, trying to sort through some good news, trying to show up for some people, trying to be present for some people, trying to make sure that people realize that people know that they're not alone. And that's a big mission of sharing is share. The ministry is designed to share our blessings and our bruises. And so to release the hold that they have in our life. And so we are in episode 23 already. Can't even believe it, but we're here. And it is my daughter's mom's birthday. Now let me tell you a little bit about the story. Some of you know the story. The story of how she and I met. I was bartending at a cheesecake factory in Chicago, Illinois, and this girl came in and with some friends, and they were like, it's funny because they were kind of like, like, wow, you're pretty good at bartending. On the other, you could kind of tell that they were also like, why is he working so hard? I bet he doesn't make any money at all. Because at Cheesecake Factory, I used to work at Cheesecake Factory for years. From the first few years that I came to Chicago, literally came to Chicago in 2000, August of 2000. And my friend Paul Chin Fong was up here. He was kind of my mentor when I was back in Tallahassee, Florida. And he came up to Chicago to work for this company called the Cheesecake Factory. And I said, that sounds like a dumb idea. I'd never work for a place that makes cheesecake. What are you talking about? And so, but I did. And I actually started the very next day. What's up, Zapu the Gamer? Hello. So I started the very next day at Cheesecake Factory, ended up being there for about 6 years. But during that time, actually, Melissa's part of my exit story from there. I was because right around the time we met, I was kind of getting to the end of my journey at Cheesecake Factory, and I was done working there. It was a hard job. It was a really high intensity, but I was really good at it. I was able to kind of go get up through the ranks pretty good. I ended up, my first month there, I ended up going to open a store in Indianapolis as a support staff member. And then I went from there to coming back to becoming a server. They call it DTs, designated trainers, and trained staff in-house. And then I went from there to opening restaurants as a server DT. And then I came back from my first opening as a server designated trainer and became a bartender in a very short amount of time, which was really cool. That I had an opportunity to do that. Became a bartender and just kind of kept going, and then became a bartender trainer, and then opened restaurants as a bartender. Had opportunity to help create drink recipes that are still on the recipe menu today at Cheesecake Factory, by the way. Some of the preps, some of the ways that we were doing things were so brand new. This is before mixology, but it was very much in that line. It was kind of like the thing right before mixology, where it was high capacity drink making in a certain way, certain format, certain quality of products was starting to become established. We were raising the bar. We were kind of raising the bar of what could be. And if you've ever been to Cheesecake Factory, the menu's crazy. So it was like we had all these different cocktails, we had all these different preps, and we had over 650 cocktail recipes that we had to kind of know in an instant. And so my job was crazy as a bartender. And then I had these other bartenders come in. That worked in a nightclub, and I met them, and it was cool. It's cool. It's always cool to meet industry people, right? If you're in the service industry, I'm not still a bartender right now. Zapu the Gamer. Right now, I'm actually I'm in between jobs. I was in the service industry for a long time, and then I kind of transitioned out and into ministry, and now I'm a pastor that's unable to work at the moment because I've been hurt. But yes, I'm still a bartender because you can never take that away from me. And there's been many parties that I've been, the star of the show. because I basically still know how to make all those drinks, you know, and then out of nowhere comes like all these cocktails. So anyway, so that's the answer to that question. Yes, I'm still a bartender. Um, no, that's not what I do for a profession though. Still got all that knowledge, still able to consult, and I'm actually thinking about consulting it a little bit once I get better. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So I meet this girl and I meet her friends, and they're kind of like, kind of laughing at me for how hard I work, and probably calculating, how much money is it possible for him to make. And so I was bartending when I met my daughter's mom, and then she said, "I work at this club called Le Passage. Stop by and see me." So I did, because that's what bartenders do. We go see other bartenders, and I went, and it was a Thursday night. Back when they had this kind of this island vibe. Might have been called Island Thursdays. I'm not sure. And the island vibe was super cool. Go in, of curtains and drapes, and you walk in. You go walk down this alley to this underground, nightclub. You can't hear the nightclub from the street because you're all the way out on Rush Street, and you walk down this long cobblestone alley where they had a red carpet, and then you go down this kind of like, it looks like a secret corridor. You go down the secret corridor, and when we get down to the secret corridor, you get past code check, you enter this different world. You're in this completely brand new world, and it's called Le Passage nightclub. And I'm in there, whatever it is. And I might have the order mixed up. It'd be great to have her chime in on this, because I can't remember if we met there and then she came and saw me at Cheesecake Factory, which might actually be the case. That actually is what happened. I walked into this Thursday night party. I would go back multiple times after that, after we got to know each other. I walked into this Thursday night party, and I just saw this head pop up from behind like someone else. Apparently she has a thing for bald guys, and so that's how we met. Saw this head pop out, and then I saw her say, "I'm going to take care of him," to this other tall guy who would become a friend of mine. His name is Richard. And so that's how we started a friendship. She started to come to see me at Cheesecake Factory. And then they were kind of like, then it was kind of like that situation where it's like, man, you work really hard. And so, but I wanted to work I was kind of in a point where I was done with working with Cheesecake Factory, and I wanted to work somewhere else. So she actually put in a good word and was like, "This guy's really good. You guys should hire him here at the nightclub." And that's how I started working at my first nightclub as a bartender, from the Cheesecake Factory straight to nightclub bartending. The difference is massive between the two. The volume is still the same, but the skill set is completely different. You don't have I was making frozen drinks and slushy drinks and mojitos and martinis and everything. And each of those things, like there was probably 6 different types of mojito to make that I could make. There's 20 different types of martinis I can make, all with like specialty ingredients like custom rims, sugar rims, and shaking really hard. Some of them shaking really hard so that the pineapple makes a frost. Some of them shaking just to mix. Some of them, limes cut a certain way, strawberries cut and capped a certain way. And so it was really cool to see like how many different types of preparation and this wide, massive skill set that I had. But I go to this nightclub, and next thing you know, I'm making, vodka Red Bulls, right? And so I'm working side by side with Melissa. And I'm kind of like, the new kid in nightclubs. And she, totally took me under her wing and showed me the ropes. I felt like, because there was a crush there, we kind of like got off on a great foot. She showed me the ropes. She lived a block and a half away from me, so I would get rides home with her. And then next thing you know, we started dating, and we probably dated for 2.5 years or so. And then, towards the end of that time, she and I, had a little girl, and our little girl is Hannah. And, the story of I think, Melissa is a person to be celebrated, every day. And if you know me, you know that I celebrate her a lot. I celebrate co-parenting with her a lot. I love being a co-parent with her. I have loved, fathering our kid with her. Has not been without challenges. I think anytime that you are not married, or anytime that you're not, kind of in agreement from the outset, and even when you are, there's it's a hard time to raise kids. But what I would say is we have figured out how to respect each other on a completely different level. I think, now what's really interesting about our relationship is I think there's probably more respect now than there ever has been in our whole relationship. And we have gone through 10 times more, like as parents together, both focused on our kid, both focused on our kids' like health and safety. Um, and so I think that, every single time I talk about my daughter's mom, and I put baby mama as a joke, like she's really like my daughter's mom. We talk about each other's baby mama. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I did not like being called baby daddy, because there's this negative connotation to, like, oh, my baby daddy. There's this disconnection from baby daddy being a person that cares and is involved in their life, versus what I actually am. And I'm a father. Like, I'm here in the good and in the bad. I'm here in the rough times and the good times, and all the way through. And so I didn't like being called a baby daddy at first, and we kind of had an issue with it. I mean, I had to tell her, like, don't call me baby daddy. Like when we were in the middle, when we were in the very beginning, we were in kind of a tough spot. We were trying to figure this whole new thing out. We're both parents. We're both new parents, brand new parents. We're trying to figure out, like, like everything. The one thing I did not like is being called baby daddy. But now it's like it's established to her, it's established to Melissa that I'm a good father. More importantly, it's established to my kid that I'm a good father. And so now that I know that it's established with my kid that I'm a good father, it's cool to be called baby daddy, because it's funny, and it's just that, it's just funny. There's no sort of connotations that I personally take with it. And for me to call her my baby mama, like, she's great. Like, she's great. She's a good mom. She's like um one of the most reliable people I've ever been able to have close relationship with, and which means a lot. She's the person that the phone number I've memorized in case I get arrested. Like, she, I say that, and I made that joke for about the last 10 years now or more, but it's true. I know that it, like, when shit hits the fan, I can count on her. And to be honest with you, I can't say that about most people. I can't say that about most people in my life. I can't say that about most people that I've been in relationship with, that I can have that level of dependability or on. But I can rely on her, and it's her birthday, and so happy birthday, Melissa. Um, I'm so happy to be, co-parented with you, with this amazing kid that we have, through the good and through the bad. It has not been easy, but it's all been worth it. It's been 100% worth it. And I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful to be able to do this. I'm thankful to be able to do this with you, not just do this with you, but to do this with you in honor, to respect you, to care about you, to call you one of my best friends on the planet, to have you as a person that I know that I can count on no matter what. Um, we travel together. We do vacations together. We don't miss holidays together. This weekend I'm going to your dad's house to hang out and stay for a couple days, for at least a day or two. Because that's the relationship we have. We have a relationship where we have kind of opened our doors. We've done something abnormal with co-parenting. And kudos to you. Kudos to you for that. Kudos to us for that. Happy birthday. I love you so much. You're one of my best friends on the planet. And I'm just really thankful for you. I really am. Really, really, really am. And I wish I could do more. I wish I could fly a helicopter over to you right now, pick you up, and take you to dinner on top of a mountain. But I can't. I can't even, like, I'm gonna lay down after this show. But no, we're gonna celebrate you Saturday. It's gonna be fun. But just happy birthday. And I just wanted you to hear that. I wanted to make sure I took some time. I wish I had more. I wish you were on Facebook so I could tag you in some pictures and pull that screen up like I did with AC the other day. But you're not on Facebook because you're also stubborn. But and yeah, you know what? At this point, I'm like, hey, just if you're not on Facebook by now, just don't be, just skip it. But if you were, I would have a whole picture montage, and I will go through my phone, while I'm laying down and do a picture montage and post it on Instagram and say some of these words. But I just wanted to say it out loud, like I don't, I try to say thank you as much as I can, but I can't say it enough to you. I tried to express how much you mean to me, but I couldn't say it enough. It's the only thing I can do is to try to publicly say it, often. I hope that you feel honored today. I hope you feel loved today. I hope you feel like, I'm just as much in your corner as you are mine and Hannah's. I hope you feel that way. So yeah, love you. Happy birthday. So that is Moosh. That's what everybody calls her. Industry Moosh is her nickname. I haven't really called her Moosh too much. It wasn't really my favorite. I don't know why. But I mean, not that her nickname was my favorite, but I like to call her Melissa because I felt like I had a different relationship than everyone else out there in the world had with her. The girl that showed up, like, with this big, pretty smile and life of the party at all the parties. I always felt like I just like, no, Melissa is the person that I know. Moosh is the person that you entertain people with. And so, but you like Moosh, so I'll call them saying happy birthday to Moosh and Melissa. Anyways, that's that for my daughter's birthday tribute. The next thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to get into a little bit of DMX. As you might know, if you tuned in yesterday and Monday, this week and Friday, actually Friday was the day that we had found out that he had passed. DMX is one of my favorite rappers, not just because of his intensity, not just because his lyrical ability, not just because of his delivery, which are all incredible. But DMX is one of my favorite rappers because what he talked about matters. What he talked about is pretty much as close to genius as you're going to get. And so I wanted to just take a little bit of time and dissect a couple songs this week. Friday, I read a prayer. It's on my Instagram at joeldavidbarnes. Hey, thanks, Zapu, for that. Happy birthday to my baby mama. Friday, I read Prayer, the skit from DMX. And so today, what I want to do, Friday, I read Prayer from DMX. Monday, I started to talk a little bit about the fact that, there's this big difference between the way that his legacy is living or being spoken about right now. Everyone is highlighting the troubledness. And you know what? Here's what I think about that. I think that there's not a person that could write about DMX being troubled that's not troubled themselves, first of all. I think that there's not a person that could sum up DMX, in a headline that isn't going through the same things in some form or fashion or hasn't. Now, same things, I'm not talking about addiction. Same things, I'm talking about brokenness. Same thing as I'm talking about incompleteness. Same things, I'm talking about struggle. Same things, I'm talking about like wrestling with God about big and important issues that are in your life. The difference is when you're a person that's in the world that's meant to share. And yes, I've said it a few times over the course of the few days that I've talked. I definitely identify with DMX because I identify with the spirit in which he delivered very vulnerably his truth, his pain, his hurt, and yet his encouragement, his real life summary of what he's going through in life. And what's really interesting is the more I listen to these songs right now in this particular season, some of y'all might know right now I'm in a weird season where I'm 6'5", strong person, been physically active my whole life. Slipped 3 discs when I was at work, stacking chairs at my church, and then at the same time was tearing. I didn't realize as I'm running around, I was tearing my meniscus in my left knee. We decided to have surgery to fix my left knee for the meniscus in order for me to be able to do more activity, which we were hoping, through, yoga, stuff like that, we were able to kind of maybe slowly but surely manipulate these discs back into place that are in my back that are slipped. And so, but instead, surgery went really wrong. I'm still in pain. I still can't walk. Like those aren't. I hate that I actually have these in the picture every single day, but because I forget to move them. But that's real. They have to be there because once I get up from here, I won't be able to walk. It's just where I'm at right now, and even limp. So I'll need those to get out there and get food or whatever. And it's just, and that's we're 5 months in, 5.5 months in almost now. And so my health is taking a complete crazy turn. And I have found myself in one of the hardest seasons of my life. As I listen and re-listen to these songs, it's like, man, um, this is like so real to me right now in the season. It feels so real and so accurate. This song in particular, there are parts of it that just speak directly to my soul. You can tell that DMX, this is the song we're gonna dissect today, is Let Me Fly. Yesterday we talked about Damien, the song Damien, where he's having a back and forth with the devil, basically. And you know what? And what I was trying to do is, even with the extreme nature of the song, in the song he's committing crimes. He's committing crimes based on this conversation or this influence that the devil's having on his life. I'm not. We're not. We're not. If we continue to get in a point where we're just like, oh, that's just not me, this is just not, oh well, of course I didn't murder anybody or whatever, like the song says. If we're not trying to find the similarities, if we're not trying to figure out like where is it in us that we kind of deviate based on this subtle influence of the evil one or the dark forces or Satan, then we're deluding ourselves, right? In reality. And because we are under the influence, we have the ability to battle with good and evil every single day. And if we're not battling, or if we don't know we're battling, that's when we're weakest. And Damien kind of shows that maybe he didn't realize that he was battling the forces that he was, and maybe those forces, next thing you know, start growing and growing and growing, and next thing you know, he owes him a favor or his hand, and next thing you know, he's being asked to basically murder one of his best friends in the song. And it may not be that extreme for us in our day to day, but I guarantee that we are faced with situations that we didn't that in relationships, right? We talked about a compromised relationship. A compromised relationship basically being one that where integrity is compromised. And because integrity has been compromised, now our actions are compromised. And now our core values are compromised. And there's not a person that's watching this that has not been in a situation or relationship that's been compromised. What we don't do enough is we don't give it the right credit. We don't identify where it came from. And for my personal belief, that's the evil one, that's Satan, that's the devil. That's obviously DMX's belief as well, because he talks about, there's 3 different versions of the song Damien, and then the Omen, where he has Marilyn Manson on it, and then part 3 is Damien 3, and each of them is a conversation with a battle back and forth. He also has multiple conversations on albums with God and wrestling with God. And yesterday we read Psalm 13, where David in the Bible is like, God, where are you? How long are you going to be far from me? And you can hear that same element, that same cry out for help when you listen to DMX and when you listen to some of his songs. And so that's what we're doing today. Today, we're going to talk just quickly, right? We're going to kind of blaze through this song for the next like 20 minutes or so, called Let Me Fly by DMX. So I wish I could play it, but as soon as I play it, hey, what's up, Lars? How are you? Zapu, I have one kid. She is about to be 14, going on 27. So her name is Hannah. What's up, Lars? It's good to see you, man. So today we're going to go over the song DMX song, Let Me Fly. So Let Me Fly, what I would recommend is on your Spotify, on Apple, at whatever it is, if you have it available, or you could do kind of multitask, pull up the song. I'll give you a second to pull the song up, and then I want you to be able to hear it. I can't play it because if I play it, then I might get kicked off stream, or the stream might get taken down. And so because I don't want to copyright infringe, I'm not 1,000% sure how to navigate all that right now. But I'll go through the lyrics. It's kind of like, it's my terrible impression of it, but um the opening, my terrible impression of the opening is if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. Hold me down, baby. That's the way that DMX starts the song. Let me fly. And then there's a chorus immediately. Good to see you too, Lars. I'll talk to you soon, brother. Um, the chorus goes, either let me fly or give me death. Let my soul rest, take my breath. If I don't fly, I'ma die anyway. I'ma live on, but I'ma gone every day. But I'll be gone every day. So let's already listen to that part. Let's already think about that part. Either let me fly or give me death. Let my soul rest, take my breath. If I don't fly, I'm gonna die anyway. I'm gonna live on, right? This is the live on part. This is the interesting part because this is now DMX is gone. And right now we're talking about him. We're going into depth, right? We've been forced to look back, which we are so often. We're so often kind of forced to think about someone after they're gone. I mean, I try to say it continuously, but how amazing would it be for people to get their roses, their appreciation, their love while they're here, But anyways, we have this part of the chorus say, either let me fly or give me death. Let me do something real quick. Just did that. There we go. So now I'm looking towards the camera. If I don't fly, I'm gonna die anyway. There we go. There we go. Better. So it looks like I'm looking in y'all's direction. Much better. So either let me fly or give me death. Let my soul rest, take my breath. If I don't fly, I'm gonna die anyway. I'm gonna live on, but I'll be gone anyway. Any day. I'll be gone any day. So he understands the fragility of life. He understands how one thing that you can mark in a person that talks about death, that talks about understanding the fragility of life, there's a couple things that you'll notice. One, there's an appreciation for the how fragile life is, how fleeting it is, right? It might not be it might not always be fun to think about or talk about or even hear, but when someone talks about death, they appreciate what's going on right now. They have the capacity to be present enough to appreciate life, to appreciate what's going on right now in their life, what's going on in their world. Now, there are people that could talk about death in a way that maybe they want to leave, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, I have experience with that. I have experience with suicidal thoughts. I have depression. I have experience with depression. I can tell you something else. Like if there was a time that this is the hardest time that I've ever walked through in my life, period. And my fighting my demons gives me such a clear focus on what's happening today. My struggle with depression gives me a very clear focus on today. It's the reason why we do this show. We do this show because we want to show up every single day. It's as much of a show for me as it is for anybody that's watching. It's as important for me to be here as it is for, maybe one person to watch. Who knows? And so the fleeting moments, the identifying fleeting moments, and identifying the fragility of life is something that's very powerful for people to understand. It doesn't always mean self-destructive. Sometimes it means very aware of today. Like I can tell you, for me, it means very aware. It means I'm very aware of the present moment. I'm not too far in the past, and I'm not too far in the future. I'm very present with exactly where I'm at. And what I can do in that space is I can accurately sometimes capture what my thoughts are today, not what my thoughts are going to be, and not what my thoughts have been. and I can understand, and sort of like kind of high level 30,000 foot view, look at the things that have happened to me, and disconnect that impact on today, because that impact on today is the God doesn't make mistakes. You go through what you're supposed to go through in order for you to be who you are today, in order for you to live out the purpose that you will have lived out by tomorrow. And so he's already, this whole song is wrestling with this idea, either let me be free. This is a song about freedom, and there's a reason why I wanted to review this one today, is because that Share is about freedom. This is a song that basically is saying, let me be free. Let me be who I've been created to be. And for him, it may or may not have been rapping. It may have been, but to be honest with you, part of me kind of sees like he's a figure. He's a public figure that wrestles publicly and gives people permission to pray out loud. Like, come on, that he does as much bad stuff as anybody in the world could ever do. But that contradiction, I've been enthralled by that contradiction in my own life, much less in the life of DMX. But that contradiction, but you might see someone that shows up in a hoodie and Timbos, but and you might have an automatic like thought process about who I am or what I look like or what this is the first time I put on a shirt on the show just because I wanted to celebrate baby mama. Normally it's a t-shirt or a hoodie, but you might see me, you might see DMX, you might see a black person walking down the street and you have one sort of impression in your head or one sort of thought process, but it's not what's there, it's what's inside that actually matters. And sometimes you need to have polarizing thoughts in order to really be able to see clearly. You might have to be like, wait, I don't understand how this dude prays on every single album, but then the rest of his content looks like this. And we're so quick to take the rest of the content and throw it out, right? It's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And so that's what we're trying to do this week. We're trying to push up against that. But this is a song about freedom. Either let me fly or give me death. Let my soul rest, take my breath. If I don't die, if I don't fly, if I'm not free, it could mean fly, like take off in his rap career, but by this time he was already there. But if I don't fly, if I'm not free, then I'm gonna die anyway. I'm gonna live on, and think about that. Think about understanding that you're gonna live on. Think about what it is you leave behind. We talked yesterday about like if your book was if you were a character in the Bible, the future Bible, in another 2,000 years, they were writing a Bible, and there were people in this Bible, and there was groups of people in this Bible, and this is how they summed it up. And this great leader named XYZ came into power, and these people followed him, and it split the country in half, and blah blah. And what if? But even if you don't believe in the Bible, what if life was a book that was being written right now? And what is history going to say? What is history? And I'm not talking about like I'm talking about an objective history. What is objective history going to say about who you identify yourself with, who you are, where you are, what side are you standing on the side of truth, or are you standing on the side of you what's convenient for you? And then so that's the chorus for the next few songs, the next few verses, or next two bars, and then I'm gonna read it because I gotta filter it obviously a little bit. Yeah. So the first thing he says is, "Hold me down. Everybody knows me now. Didn't want to play with me when to show me how. Now I'm meow because it's all about the bark." So he's basically saying like, now I've succeeded. Now I have succeeded. Now I've had some success. Now y'all want to talk to me. Now y'all want to mess with me because DMX had a very troubled past. He had a troubled. I say troubled. Maybe I'm brainwashed too. But he fought addiction early at 14. He became addicted to crack, from what he said in an interview. He was involved in a lot of robberies and potential murders and whatever early on. And for a long time, he fought to get on. He fought to be recognized. He fought to be identified or recognized as an artist. Then he was, and then now he's the only artist, the rapper to ever have 5 back-to-back number one debut albums, and then 2 of those in the same year. Still never been done. But we see him acknowledge, oh, now you want to mess with me. Now you accept me. Light up the night like 4th of July. Yeah, when I let go, people die. I soak up all the pain and accept it in silence. When I let go, it's violence. Cause the wildest is a dog barking up a tree for the cat in a fog. Why y'all blank see? Why yeah, flapping away, but I'm blind like Stevie. Just wordplay. Wordplay talking about how he is basically coming onto the scene. Stop being greedy. You heard what I said. Now he's on the scene. Now he's making money. Now he's rapping, flapping away, but I'm blind like Stevie. Like he's not paying attention. He's not paying attention to the people that are, buzzing around him, whatever it is. He's trying to stay focused. He's blind like Stevie. Stop being greedy. You heard what I said. Let me go. Let me flow, or I'm dead. Let me go. Like, give me freedom to express myself. Give me freedom to perform the way I want to perform, or I'm dead. Now he controversial. I mean, we've said it before. I've said it before. Controversial rapper because part of a lot of his music sounds very aggressive, very in your face, very angry, very f you, all this. He wore his anger on his sleeve as well. So it's hard to. I think what's hard for people. I think it's hard for us, including myself, to understand, like, how can someone have so much going on inside of them, so much anger inside of them, and then God still be there, God still be present. But I think that's the point. That's kind of the point of DMX, is that he was all the things that he is, all the anger that he's been, all the experiences that he's had. He was all those and still relied ultimately. He still slipped and he still relied ultimately on his Father in heaven. So the next chorus comes up: either let me fly or give me death. Verse 2 says, I sold my soul to the devil and the price was cheap. I mean, when he first came on, kind of, doing whatever he had to do, compromising whatever he had to compromise relationships with, like we said, Damien earlier, and the price was cheap. And it's cold on his level because it's twice as deep. But you don't hear me. Ignorance is bliss, and so on. Sometimes it's better to be thought dumb. Shall I go on? Ignorance is bliss. Not knowing how people are, love you or don't love you. You know what I'm saying? It'd be easier for me sometimes to not. It'd be easier for me to not show up. To be honest, stay in my bed or go do something else. It'd be easier for me. Ignorance is bliss. It's easier when you don't know. When you don't know how hard something is, when you don't know how difficult something is to go through, when you don't know, when you can, when for him in this particular point, it'd be better. It would have been better for him to not know about drugs, addiction. Ignorance would have been bliss, and so on. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to play dumb. Shall I go on? Yo, on the real, what's the deal? It's a mystery. How is it I can live and make history? If you don't see it, then it wasn't meant for you to see. If you wasn't born with it, it wasn't meant for you to be. But you can't blame me for not wanting to be held, locked down in a cell where the soul can't dwell. This is hell. Come meet the devil and give me the key. But it can't be worse than the curse that was given to me. I'm going to read that again, slow again. And I think this says whatever you need to hear. I don't have to bleep anything out or interpret. Yo, on the real, what is the deal? It's a mystery. How is it I can live and make history? How is it I can live and make history? How is it I can live? You know, we just talked about right before that, he talks about blowing up to fame and stardom and all the, snakes and the rats and the cats and the dogs surrounding him in the song yesterday. How is it that he can live to make history? He probably was questioning, like, how is it even possible that he's alive with the amount of things he's gone through? Yo, on the real, what's the deal? It's a mystery. How is it I can live and make history? If you don't see it, then it wasn't meant for you to see. If you wasn't born with it, it wasn't meant for you to be. But you can't blame me for not wanting to be held, locked down in a cell where the soul can't dwell. This is hell. Come meet the devil and give me the key, because it can't be worse than the curse that was given to me. It's what I live for. You can't take it away. And I'm gone. There's a difference between doing wrong and being wrong. And that just ain't right. Just keep it fair, baby. Put me in the air and I'll take it there, baby. Yes. Clearly, like, wrestling. But there's something else that popped out of to me when I read this particular verse. This particular verse said, I said verse because it reminds me of a verse in the Bible. There's a verse in the Bible. It says, if you don't see me, then it wasn't meant for you to see. And if you wasn't born with it, it wasn't meant for you to be. There's a there's a there's a there's this phrase in Ecclesiastes that says that there's nothing new under the sun. So so for me, that's what the second line feels like. If you weren't born with it, it wasn't meant for you to be, because there's nothing new under the sun. God is only essentially moving resources around, and gifting different people with different talents. And so if it wasn't meant if you don't have that talent, if you weren't meant to have that talent, then maybe it wasn't meant for you to be. In other words, right on the back of the phrase, if you don't see it, then it wasn't meant for you to see. God promises us that He'll give people eyes to see, ears to hear, and hearts to understand. And so when His words are spoken, and that's interesting, because when he's saying is, when His words are spoken, you'll get it if you're meant to get it. You the same kind of scriptural, like, interpretation is if you don't have what it is you're supposed to have, you won't be able to interpret it the way that you're supposed to interpret it. Which is really interesting, because God promises that we have what we need at all times, is in order to understand and live in connection with Him. So we've been gifted everything we need to be able to see and understand a relationship with God. And I think that this is it's really interesting that He points out there's people that are going to be able to get it and not be able to get it. It's one thing that I've been very clear about, starting this ministry, is that God actually gave me those words, for that I was supposed to speak to the people that have eyes to see, ears to hear, and hearts to understand. And because there's people that want to understand and want to get it and want to go deeper and want to have a better understanding of you, your truth, in this case DMX, or his truth. And there's people that don't. There's people that don't care. People that will just bop to the beat and be a fan that way, or be an anti-fan and judgmental person, and kind of say this person's, he was an addict. If he wasn't hooked on drugs, he wouldn't be dead, you know? And I think that we have the ability to kind of be both. The ignorance is bliss side, or the judgmental side. But then there's that kind of that sweet spot, like when you're hitting a golf ball. There's that spot where it doesn't go left, it doesn't go right, it just goes dead on. Like, I don't even know why. Probably because those golf clubs are in my on behind me. I don't know why I thought about that analogy, but there's a sweet spot. There's a spot when you hit the ball with the club. It's the sweet spot. It sounds different. It hits different. And it's like, all right, that's meant to be. The ball is meant to be right there. Everything about the club is kind of designed for the ball to be right there when it smacks that ball. and then it sails, and then you've got this incredible golf shot because it's meant to be. Now it's very similar with us, right? Like I think that we are all kind of crafted in a way that's meant to be understood, but you have to be people have to want to understand you. People have to want to see. People have to, kind of take leave either leave their judgment or leave their really simple high level analysis of you by the door to in order to kind of get to know you better. And so he's wrestling with that. But what he's ultimately saying is, this is hell. Come meet the devil and give me the key. In other words, trade places with me. I trade places with a lot of people. I trade places with a person that can walk and go to the gym right now. But it can't be worse than the curse that was given to me. He's probably referring to his addiction at the time. He felt like his addiction had played a huge part in his life by that point in his life already, and had been playing a large part in his life for a long time. And so I know that he felt like he was not just had he been actually locked up in a cell, but he was struggling with addiction in a way that was real and very hard for him, and felt like being trapped. In 2020, he did a podcast. Actually, you can look it up. He calls addiction his curse. So then back to either let me fly or give me death. Plays again for a couple times. Either let me fly or give me death. Let my soul rest, take my breath. If I don't fly, I'ma die anyway. I'ma live on, but I'm gonna die anyway. I'm gonna die any day. And that plays on twice. And then he third verse. I'm gonna flow regardless because I'm an artist until I'm trapped. Again, that reference back to freedom, that reference back to that desire to be free. I'm a flow regardless until because I'm an artist, and he was an artist. He had a way of creating, he expressing truth. And I think that that's what an artist is a person who is enthralled with interpretation and expression of truth, their truth, their perception, their angles, their way. um I'm gonna continue to hit the hardest, whether I scrap or whether I rap. And kind of reference back to the fact that you know he's not scared of nobody, nothing. Give me that, but you ain't my friend. I see it in your eyes. You contemplate my end, waiting for the bend in the road where you were told that you would go on that you would go when you were old, and if you died young, it was cold. Scold not for nearly what it was worth. Think back 20 years, like I think back like 20 years, like what if this birth was a miscarriage and I never existed? Have I given something that if you take it away, you missed it? Have I given something that if taken away, you have missed it? I'm gonna get back to that. Didn't know yet I persisted. It was a call of the wild. I merely say what's in my heart, and you can call it a style. No, put it in a cage. Don't mistreat it. You say you're hungry for knowledge. Here it is. Eat it. A song completed is another thought captured. Let me do my thing. I got it locked on this rap shit. So that another reference to the Bible, another place in the Bible that wrestles just like this. Think back 26 years, like think back 26 years. Be like, what if this birth was a miscarriage and I never existed? Have I given something that if taken away, you'd have missed it? I mean, that to me sounds like it's got Job written all over it. Job in the middle, in Job chapter 3, he's wrestling. And it's really interesting because I read this in the middle of this really painful period as well. In Job chapter 3, he says something exactly like this. He questions his own birth. Matter of fact, I'll pull it up because I don't want this just to be my words. And we can do whatever we want. And I'm gonna do whatever I want. And right now I want to pull up Job chapter 3. Oh, I have my Bible right here. Oh, I don't know where my Bible's under a pile of clothes because I just cleaned off my desk yesterday. There's another Bible. Let's do it real quick, fast. Entering. Bang. Okay, Job chapter 3. Job chapter 3. I'm gonna read this. We're nearing the end of Oh, how do I go ahead? Okay, there we go. Okay, so this particular verse, he's already said I'm gonna flow. I'm gonna rap because I'm an artist. I'm gonna flow regardless. I'm gonna talk whatever. Just give me. You're not my friend. That's actually another Job reference. After Job was after Job had been afflicted with all these different things, his family had died. His wife had basically told him to give up on life, on God, curse God. He lost all his fortunes. His body was being affected with lesions. No, in Job chapter 3, we're about to read it. But right after that, right after he's pretty much at his end, he's lost everything. The next thing he starts to lose, the next thing that you kind of see Job lose or see happen is his friends. He starts to lose his friends, not because they are bad friends, but they're human friends. So what happens in later in the book of Job is that his friends actually, my opinion is that his friends actually become the next thing, the next plague to hit Job. The next thing to make Job suffer is actually his own friends, because they start bringing up doubt. They start doubting, and they start kind of saying, if you hadn't done XYZ, then you wouldn't be punched this way. And there's multiple chapters where they go back and forth, and Job's like, I don't even know, like, how are you telling me that this is my fault? How are you telling me that my suffering is my fault? Literally, he's lost everything. I couldn't imagine serving a God that just wipes out everything based on something that we do. B, he hadn't done anything. Like, he was brought kind of to this situation originally because he was a person that was of good character, good content, or good heart, good hearted, and Satan asked permission to inflict him because he basically, it was kind of a challenge. Like, I bet I can get him to break, and God was like, no, he's solid. And so not just did he not break through after all those things that had gone on with him in his life, but now his friends start coming around and making him doubt himself. And you see him wrestling with that. He's always kind of wrestling and pointing back to other people being fake around him. But I think that that's part of the plague. That's part of the plague of having an anointing or being chosen, is that you get attacked by the people that are around you, sometimes even inadvertently, sometimes even without words. People can kind of say, oh, well, this person has had plenty of opportunity. He's had plenty of opportunity to pull himself out of that hole. He's had plenty of opportunity to not be an addict. Yep. He's rich. I mean, look what he's done. He's thrown it all away because he's had plenty of opportunity to not be an addict. And those are the worst human beings to be in, to do life with, because those people are so busy looking down their nose, looking at the link in everyone else's, the speck of dust in everyone else's eye, that they forget that they have a log on their own shoulder. And what that means is they are so busy pointing the finger that they miss the fact of how broken they are inside. How it might not be drugs or alcohol that they're addicted to. Maybe they're addicted to a show or shows, or needing to be reaffirmed by XYZ people on Instagram enough times, getting enough likes. Maybe they're addicted to food. Maybe they're addicted to working out. Maybe there's something else in their life that's kind of taking precedence over the space where God's supposed to be. But it's really easy for us, isn't it, to just say, yep, he's an addict. Oh man, sucks he was an addict. If he wasn't an addict, then he wouldn't have died so young. And the reality is, his thing is different, but it's really no different than anything that we struggle with ourselves. It's really no different. There's nothing like there's nothing that weighs more to God. There's no sin that weighs more. Like if there's no sin that essentially means that you've done something worse. Like a lie is a sin, and that's just weighs just as much as murder. And I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but that's what the Bible tells us. The Bible tells us that like sin is sin is sin is sin. It isn't like you can't you're not allowed to sit there and judge other people for it. You're not allowed to pass judgment for it or say, or qualify. It's the reason why we're in such a hard place in America, because everyone wants to kind of qualify what is right and what's wrong, and you think that like, oh, if he didn't resist, then like like come on, like I'm over it. I'm sick of people I'm sick of people losing or choosing to forego humanity over facts, over did you know that there's a kid that was shot in Chicago like 16 times, and you can see in the video, like you can see literally see like how far he is from anybody. He was shot like 16 times, and he had a knife in his hands, and there was like this perimeter around him of like tons of officers, like and they were and the question was whether or not it was excessive force. And then I heard people saying, well, did you know like you can close the gap on wielding a knife? You can close the gap in blank point blank seconds. That means even though he was 20 feet away, that's and he had a knife, but he actually didn't have a knife. He had a cell phone. And so anyways, we are I think I got off on a tangent because my heart is heavy this week also for everything that's going on in the United States. And this makes me remember it. This makes me remember I see it in your eyes. You contemplate my end. We see it day in and day out, how many people are contemplating the end of each other. And it's sad. But think like 20 years. This is where we're going to finish. This is the last verse of the song. Think back like 20 years and be like, what if this birth was a miscarriage and I never existed? Have I given you something? This is a rap. Have I given something that if taken away, you'd have missed it? For me, the answer is yes. DMX has absolutely given me something that I would have missed if I hadn't gotten it. If he had not kind of come on the scene when he came on the scene, and I'm not saying life changing, life altering, whatever it is, but I would have missed it. There would have been a part of me that would have been a little bit more shy to pray in front of people. There would have been a part of me that would have been a little bit more shy to be exactly who I am in front of people. There's this roughness that's inside of me that I know that I can attribute partially to DMX, partially because I got permission to wrestle out loud with my pain, with my struggle, because I saw someone do it, and so many times, like you need to see someone do it to understand that you have permission to do it. And so, yeah, I would have missed it, X, if you never walked the earth. There would have been a part of me today, maybe even this show, who knows, that may not have happened. Don't know yet I persisted. Didn't know, yet I persisted. It was the call of the wild, which everyone knows I think I have in me. I merely say what's in my heart, and you give it a style. Don't put it in a cage. Don't mistreat it. You say you are hungry for knowledge. Here it is. Eat it. Another song completed. Another thought captured. Let me do my thing. I got a lock on this rap shit. So that's DMX closing out his song "Let Me Fly." And you know what, man, what a poignant song at a poignant time in life right now. You say you're hungry for knowledge. The world's hungry for connection, hungry for togetherness, and there's nobody watching right now. Here it is. Eat it. Here I am. Join me. Here we are. Let's do it. And maybe one day, whether or not I'll still be here for like the next year. Job 3. Here's the tie-in. Here's the DMX lyric. Um, he basically is saying, what if this pregnancy ended up in a miscarriage and I wasn't here? Job says, may the day of my birth perish in the night that said a boy is conceived. That day, may it turn into darkness. May God above not care about it. May no light shine on it. May gloom and utter darkness claim it once more. May a cloud settle over it. May blackness overwhelm it. That night, may thick darkness seize it. That night, the day of his birth, may the night be barren. May no shout of joy be heard in it. He's cursing the day that he was born. Why did I not perish at birth and die as I came from the womb? I mean, I can't think of a more clear correlation. Think back 26 years. Be like, what if this birth was a miscarriage and I never existed? Why did I not perish at birth and die as I came from the womb? Why were there knees to receive me and breasts that I might be nursed? For now I'd be laying down in peace. I would be asleep and at rest, with kings and rulers on earth who built for themselves places now lying in ruins, and with princes who had gold, who filled their house with silver. Or why was I not hidden away in the ground like a stillborn child? He was wrestling. He was wrestling. He was wrestling out loud in front of us. And some of us got it. Some of us caught it. Some of us understood it. Some of us can understand it today. Some of us never will. Some of us never cared. Some of us will never hear it. And that's okay. Because, like you said, we're here to speak to those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. And so, Lord, I am just asking you that if there's anybody that's watching this, anyone that's wrestling with the same question, anyone that's like, man, if there was a time, if I wasn't here, who would care? There's so many people, Lord, that cared, that if DMX wasn't here, that their life would have been changed. There's so many people that I know that there's any single person that's listening to this, that if they weren't there, so many lives would be different, and they might not even realize it, Lord. Sometimes, Lord, what I just ask for is a different level of sight. Just allow people to see just a different level of realization, different level of sight. Give them sight for how important they are to you in this whole plan. Give them how important they are to, like, your master plan, that each person has a purpose, whether it's a purpose that's like to wrestle in public and honestly be publicly shamed, publicly scrutinized, even in death. This human being sacrificed so much of his soul, so much of his openness, so much of his heart to being wide open, an open book, really truly transparent with his struggles, with his past. And it's touched so many people, it's touched so many lives. But Lord, there's not everyone doesn't have that purpose, and that's okay. Sometimes our purpose is to change one life. The people that there are people, there's a person that's in his life that is that is a direct contributor to him being the way he is. There are people around him, and so playing a part of the big. Some people have the stage, Lord, and some people, are behind stage. Some people are production crew, and some people are the audience, and some people need to hear it, and some people arrive in the audience strong and ready to contribute, and some people arrive in the audience that need to be poured into. But God, at every single place, you're there. At every single point, you're there, and every single person that is listening to this or watching this has a purpose in you, has the ability to contribute to your kingdom, and does, whether or not they realize it, for better or for worse. Everyone is important. We're all important. We're all necessary. And every single time one person dies or takes their life or is not here, or if it's cut short, Lord, there's a shift that happens. It's a ripple effect through the world. And today we're just honoring this legacy, of a troubled man as told by a troubled man. And that's it. And just I pray that you just continue to bless us, continue to help me, Lord, as I'm struggling with a lot right now personally. I'm sad. I'm really sad that I'm not more able. I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to, do that secret thing that I can't talk about in a couple weeks, you know, and then my heart is hurting and I feel trapped by my body right now, and that's really hard for me. It's really hard for me to not feel like I'm able to do very much. It's the pain is very hard um, to deal with every single day. But I thank you for an opportunity every single day to fight it. I thank you for an opportunity every single day to get up and be committed to showing up. And for that, it's probably, you know, a life saving project. So we love you and we thank you for that. Um, Let us be better at struggling in public so that we are not hiding. And let us do a better job at not hiding, like DMX did. In Jesus' name, amen. That's all I got for today. I'm exhausted. If you have subscribed to the Facebook and to the YouTube, great. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you want to, just go on facebook.com and put we have to share one at the end of facebook.com/ we have to share one. That's our Facebook group. You can find anything, everything that you need. Or go to the YouTube page and like us, like and subscribe. That'll be great. I appreciate it, and it's free to you, and it helped me like kind of just start getting this word out, start showing up for people, and do cool projects like this. Just show up and just kind of talk through like DMX songs. Like, come on, I can do this. I can do this. I can even get better at this. And I hope that I do. All right, I'm going to take a nap and lay down and get my body straight for a little bit and get this pressure off of the sciatic nerve. And I am out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget to share. You have enough. Blessings or bruises. You have enough. I promise. You have enough on your plate. You can share it. You have enough in your pocket. You can share it. We have enough. Don't forget it. All right, we'll talk soon.